Alright, so the first topic we're gonna cover is creating your own sound. So as a producer, what does that mean when you create your own sound? You don't copy one style or artist or producer, you copy like 3 different things. A lot of stuff, if you really dig deep, all your favorite artists, all your favorite producers, they all have similar sounds. They are influenced by somebody or many people. But if you're only influenced by one thing, you can be seen as like, oh, he's just trying to be like so-and-so. So my magic number for that is 3. So I have like 3 influences. I have, Kanye, Travis, Mike. You could throw Mike Dean in there within Kanye and Travis. And then the third one is always changing. I say that in beat critiques all the time. It could be R&B, it could be West Coast, it could be 80s, 70s music, it could be K-pop, it could be just pop. Like any third influence is always going to be different. When you have 3 different influences that you copy from, Picasso said it, right? Good artists copy, great artists steal. Steal from 3 resources, you'll be good. You're crafting your own lane because you're gonna give a different approach versus those 3 influences. And those 3 influences aren't always working together. You're gonna be different by making those 3 mesh. I'm kind of working on that towards a project I'm working on, and it's literally influenced by those 3 things I said. Kanye, Travis, that third one's a variable. I'm looking to like 80s music, I'm looking to like old Dr. Dre stuff, like, because I grew up to that music, and that's how that third factor, that's where you could add yourself in, music you grew up with, music that you've always liked, music that resonates with you. That's how, in my opinion, how you create your own sound. People have to like you, and you have to be likable rather than egotistical and not chill to be in the studio/networking situations. Talent mainly matters when preparation meets opportunity equals success, but talent alone without work ethic and likable personality is useless. You could be really dope at producing, you could be fire. I see it from time to time. The people that are up, they're likable people. People wouldn't mind them being in the studio. People wouldn't mind them collaborating. A lot of it is outside the music. You could have the best music, but no one wants you around. Or you could have like pretty trash music, but there's, your work ethic shows there's potential, and you have a good character and you're genuine. They're gonna invite you, you're gonna be part of that. But it's a thin line. They're gonna know real quick if you're being fake, if you're just kissing ass or you have different intentions, how to not be fake. I broke it down to just provide value consistently and show clear intent/purpose and communicate that. So people hit me up all the time, but it's like, what's their intent? Is it to get something off of me? Is it to build and provide value? If I see their value consistently being brought and they have that clear intent and they communicate that, then they're not fake, because I see what their purpose is and it's upfront. Whether I like it or not, I rather know what I'm getting into rather than not know what I'm getting into. I don't have to, you can't please everyone. You can't work with everyone all the time. You're gonna take some L's here and there. You're gonna get some rejections. That's just part of the business. That's just part of life. But at least people know what you're about, and it's always best to work with people that you know what they're about when you reach out to them, when they reach out to you. And not everyone wants what's best for you. A lot of people just want what's best for them. So when you do find people that you could both work with each other, you gotta stick with them. Opportunities come to you more often when you are, number 1, consistent, number 2, leveling up your craft, and number 3, putting yourself out there more through social media and social proof and that social proof just means you work with others and you're not clout chasing or dick riding. So you're not always gonna have the social proof of a company, of a label, of a team, but you can build your own. And honestly, building your own is the best way to start, because if I didn't build my own in high school, in college, it wouldn't have attracted the McDSP, it wouldn't have attracted the producer grind. You gotta work on your own brand, and that's why I wanna definitely dive deeper into Instagram stuff. A big thing I wanna mention also is that people take your kindness for weakness. So you have to know your worth/be assertive. That's the thing I'm learning right now. Like, I was raised, be humble, be nice. Like, when you're too kind, when you're too nice, especially in this very like real cutthroat industry, music entertainment, they're gonna take it as weakness and they're gonna use you, and that's just what it is. And I am not gonna complain about it. I went through it many times, and it's like, okay, and now I'm gonna learn from it. And you do that by building your worth through your skill sets, through your talents, through your network, and you just be assertive with it. And people actually respect that more as long as you put in the work. Because if you don't put in the work, they're gonna be like, this guy's capping, this guy's fake. You don't stand up for what you're trying to build and whatnot, everyone's gonna like just use you as a stepping stone. That's all about perception. So people want to see Again, the keyword is see. People want to see who they're working with. So what you put out there is what people see, and it's that, and then they make assumptions of that's who they're working with. So if you put out there that you're this type of person that's like they don't want to be around, even if that was just for funny jokes, or you know, you're just, I don't know, just you didn't know what you were doing on your social media, that's the impression you're giving, and the first impression is the most important. It doesn't mean that if you didn't get an opportunity that it's over. You want to have what's called an abundance mindset. That's the abundance mindset, that if you take an L here, you know you have the confidence to work on other stuff. And that way you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, once you do this consistently, you take L's and you grow. When you start meeting people that quote unquote made it, in whatever definition that means to them, and you meet them in person and you talk to them, you realize that they're human like you. There's not much of a difference. The only difference is that they're spending more time, number one. Number two, they're spending more money. And number three, they're taking more risks and losses than you. I think that's the only difference. For a good amount of people, that's the only difference between you and your favorite artist, producer, whatever. Like, that's how they made it. So what that means is you just got to keep going. But you don't keep going plateau. If you realize you're not getting the results you want, you got to try something else. You got to switch it up. Instagram, like I said, it's your portfolio, it's your first impression, it's your resume. When people look you up, this is off from the bio, the profile pic, the first 3 to 9 photos that they see. This is what they're getting into. If they even want to reach out, or if you DM them and they look at who's DMing them, they're like, okay, this is who we're talking about. You guys don't have to use Instagram. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying if you're open to using it, it is a very powerful tool to build your brand. Me being active on YouTube, me being active on Instagram, that consistency, always showing up, it literally like attracted that opportunity to be part of that. Instagram, social media, YouTube, TikTok, it's a slippery slope. We get caught up in being consumer instead of producer. We're taking in more content rather than outputting content. And therefore, we're not treating Instagram as a business. We're only treating it as a commodity, as something we use as consumers, right? And that's where it gets dangerous, because then you catch yourself scrolling, you catch yourself wasting time, and you're like, why am I even on here? But if you use it as a business tool and you try to be disciplined in when you spend your time there, you're answering, you're connecting, you're networking on DMs, you're responding to comments, so you show you're engaging, you make your post and you dip. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm guilty of like scrolling. Everyone ends up scrolling. That's just how the app's designed. The app makes money the longer you're on it. You could either use that to your advantage, or you could let it use you. Diving deeper into how you can use Instagram to help your producer career. So number one is defining your brand. What is branding? I'll just say it's 3 main things that you're about, aka your purpose, what kind of content you make. I'll give you guys an example. I put in my bio producer, artist, engineer. If I put that in my bio, what are you gonna see from my content? What do you expect to see? You expect to see beats, right? You expect to see songs, and then like studio picks, mixes, all that. Which a lot of producers, they have that pretty down packed, which is at least within the producer grind community, which is dope. Like, you know, you follow a producer on producer grind in the community, like you find them and you look at their socials. Okay, yeah, they got their beats up, cool. They got that step 1 down. What is gonna separate you from other people? Are you doing a different genre? You don't always have to limit it to the music. If you guys look at my Instagram, I throw in my personality. I'm a personal brand, right? I throw in my hobbies, I throw in my interests. It's very intentional when I do that, so the whole encompassing impression is still music. For example, I like photography, like film photography. I'm into that shit, and I do it as a hobby. Like, I don't really get paid for that. I just do it as a creative outlet to express myself other than music. It's film photography. But, you know, I'd be using those film photographies for my cover art for my beats. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's still related somehow to music. You know, there's a few people that really pulled off being mysterious, but for the most part, I don't think that's the best way to go. And other producers, they just have a logo. Now, if you just have a logo and no one knows who you are, human psychology, we relate more when we see a face. So I really emphasize showing your face. I know a lot of producers are scared to do that, you know? I'm ugly as fuck, look at me, like, but I don't care because my music's fire, like, so you guys, if you could walk with that confidence and you don't give a fuck, it at least makes people remember you more. Or where you're from. If you're a certain part of the US that not a lot of producers are from, or you're a certain part of the world that not a lot of people are from, this is where you put personal brand into the play. This is how you stand out, by being more you, being more your personal brand. How many Filipino producer, artists, engineers from LA do you guys know? So I very emphasize that I'm from the Valley, the San Fernando Valley, the 818, because there's not a lot of people from that region of LA County that are doing what I do. There's a good amount, but not a lot as just LA. And I was born and raised here, and I represent that West Coast. You guys are starting a scene in your area that's not a lot of competition. It is harder because there's less resources, but if you guys are the first ones or one of the early ones, you now have a chance to double your audience, because you could be big in your hometown, your small town, wherever state or city you're from that's not popping, that doesn't have a huge music entertainment industry. You could be big there, and because of the internet, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you also build an audience there. If you use the internet, you literally have the whole world in your phone, in your laptop, that you could work with. And what makes you build your personal brand more is you showing where you're from, if you're proud of that. If you're not, if it doesn't feel like part of your identity, you don't gotta do that. My point being is that whatever your personal brand is, whatever your life is, don't sleep on that, because that might be the factor that makes you different. Everyone wants to be part of a clique that's already winning. Why don't you build your own? That's what I'm learning now too. And that's a whole nother topic. I might get into that, like networking around you, not only networking up, because people around you could be the next so-and-so. You never know. And I don't mean that in a transactional way where you're only hanging around with people just to like hope they pop off and use them like that. Nah, I'm saying you're actually coming up with people that you F with and they F with you. Now, how do you execute that, right? How do you show your brand on Instagram as a producer, as a creative, as an engineer, as an artist? You identify with similar accounts with the same brand, and you look at what works for them, and you try to apply those techniques and ways of posting to see what works for you. But you add your own twist to fit your personal brand. But I was legitly wanted to surround myself and learn from people that are either reaching their goals already or are on the path to reach their goals as a producer. I'm like, how are these guys even making a living? Are they selling beats? Are they selling kits? Like, are they in the studio engineering? Like, what are they doing? So I really was picking people's brains during the interviews. In the chat, I would reach out to people and connect with them, DM them like, hey, like, you know, let's collab, or I just want to see you cook up, and we join a Zoom or a Discord. When you find your tribe, right? When you find those people, you see what works for them, and you try and you ask them, or you see what they're doing and try to apply it to yourself. Instagram's goal, or any social media platform, even YouTube, right? Their goal as a business is to have people stay on the app longer. Why? They run more ads. You're more in the app. Yeah, that's pretty much it, actually. They run more ads, and you know, they get money like that. And a lot of people as a consumer, and we all know this, as we consume content, like it's addicting. It's like we fall in a spiral, we fall in the rabbit hole. Now you could use it to help you, or you're just there just wasting time. But if you know that Instagram, YouTube, their goal is to have you stay on the app longer, their algorithms overall are gonna push your content if your content have people stay on the app longer. I think you gotta switch it to like an artist or a business account or something. It's free to do. That way you could have the insights, and they don't give too much insights, which kind of sucks, but it's free. Like, make use of it. The insights is gonna show you which photos of yours or videos or posts have the most likes, the most comments, the most reach, impressions, all that. How do you get people to stay longer on your post? Your post has to be engaging, aka it gets people to watch it, it gets people to like it, it gets people to read it, it gets people to react and comment and share. You don't always have to ask for the engagement, because that might come off like, all right, this guy is always starting his captions with, what do you guys think? And it's kind of coming off like not genuine. So when it's appropriate, my two recent posts out of my last like 10 posts, the ones that have organically, like without paid ads or anything, just organically, just me posting, that has the most likes and comments, the caption started off with a question. It was my post about the single I'm dropping tomorrow. It was like, which cover art is the best? And I've been trying that with my singles, actually, because people want to vote on shit. Because again, it's engaging. It's like, ooh, like there's 4 cover arts and I could pick Layno's next cover art. Like, hell yeah, I'm gonna vote 2 or 3. You know what I mean? I realized if you're gonna put a photo, so Instagram provides what's called a carousel, and a carousel is like multiple slides. You could do up to like 10 slides. I mentioned that in this video, in the 6 tips to grow your Instagram, right? That feature is like a gem that not a lot of people use. Think about it, right? You have up to 10 slides. some are photos, some are videos. If people scroll past it, Instagram is now gonna show a different slide, maybe not the first slide, maybe a different slide within those 1 through 10 slides that you have, so that when people are scrolling past it, they see a different slide, and maybe that slide is the better one to get them to comment, to like, to whatever, right? To save the post, to share it. So that's why you do carousel slides. It gives more chances for people to engage with your post. Instagram Reels is like their version of TikTok. Right now the limit's 30 seconds. I wish they extended already, because 30 seconds is not enough. I wish it was a minute. And I think TikTok's starting to do more than a minute now for videos. But try doing an Instagram Reels, like for example, like within the format, the whatever aspect ratio, with the length 30 seconds. And I'm putting the little text bubble so you could tell like it's an Instagram Reels video. It looks native to what it is. It's getting more plays than if I were just to post it normally, right? So this is Linktree, right? Linktree. I put that as my link in bio, because you could have a link in your bio in Instagram. This is a free. Now you could upgrade to have more features, but I'm using the free version, right? So check out Linktree, guys, and you guys should have a Linktree set up, especially if you have a bunch of links to your work. So I have my Patreon link, I have my Spotify singles, I have my beat store, I have my kits, I have my tutorials, my YouTube channel, couple interviews, and my other Instagram pages. Like you could, I don't even know the limit in how many links you could do. You could even make it like only 3, so they know that you're directing traffic directly to only 3 places. But this is, again, it's like your resume, it's like your portfolio. Like when people find your link in bio, where do you want to direct your audience in Instagram? Ideally, you gotta keep people in the app. That's the best way you're gonna get the most on the algorithm, because it's actually hurting Instagram's business to lead people outside of their app. So you want to do a lot of things natively, is what they call it, meaning you make your content for the purpose of only that app, not driving people to YouTube, not driving people to other places. But having a link tree, guys, it's free. Like, might as well use it, right? You could have your beats, you could have your singles that you put out. If you have stuff on streaming, you could put your placements, like stuff you produce for artists, big, small, local, like it don't even matter, just to show people that you got a lot of music out there, you know, or you're working towards it. Or maybe you have like a hobby that adds to your personal brand. Say you, I don't know, say you play basketball, right? And you make little hoop mixtapes for fun on some dumb shit. Like maybe you have a link tree to your hoop mixtapes. Like you could do that. You could really showcase your brand through your link tree, right? Because Instagram only lets one link in bio. Now you can make that link in bio just like one thing, so you have focused people on just one link. Maybe it's your BeatStars, maybe it's your whatever. Like, but a link tree is like a hub to have all these different links, and it's free. So go ahead and start that, you know. And if you do the paid stuff, there's more features on it. You can customize it even more, make it things move and highlight certain things. But the free one should get you going right. People don't use this a lot. You see these bubbles, these highlights? You can make your story highlights. I have so much bingeable content, guys. I have critiques, I have stuff from Producergrind, Patreon stuff, tweets, album, cookups, beats for release, drum kit, singles, streetwear, photography, beat tape. Man, you go to my page, I got a whole fucking I don't even know, like, and that's where I'm winning, guys. Like, who do you know? Even if you're not a fan of my content, if you're new, you just might be interested, because it's like, damn, I go mainly on his Instagram and he has all this stuff I could like look at, learn from, listen to. Like, you could really brand your highlights, because it's, think about it, it's in the real estate of your first few impressions, right? They see your name and profile, then they see your followers and shit, then they see your bio, your link tree, or your link in bio, then they see your highlight bubbles that you make, and then they see all your posts, your feed posts, your reels, your IGTV, you know what I mean? So it's like, you gotta make use of the highlight bubbles. Like, you could put highlight bubbles, beats for release, collabs, critiques, like, I don't know, like whatever you want to do, like, you know what I mean? some personal, adds a mix of personal shit, just so people know like you're human, we could relate to you, you're not just a robot just cooking up that doesn't do anything else in life. Which, hey, that might work for you, that might be your brand. Like, I'm not hating on that, but I'm just saying, like, throw in your personal touch to it, you know. So highlight bubbles for sure. Link in bio for new beats sample pack. So you have your hook. This is captions, guys. You have your hook. You have, what is marketing? Make it super simple. Marketing is storytelling. You're telling a story. This is what I've been up to lately. Emojis, man. Emojis speak 1,000 words. Fucking chilling, you know. But I'm not only chilling, I work hard, but I also enjoy life, and I try to help others. Boom. that's
and
my,
also, bro,
yeah,
the way that you like spaced everything out makes it easy to digest. Like, I don't know.
Facts. That is key. I totally overlooked that. That is big. I don't know if you guys heard that, but Alan said, you see how I indented? I didn't just make it one blob of text that's hard to read. Guys, we're in a visual society, man. You gotta make it easy for people to like take in what you're trying to put out and react. I'm not saying you're like always like desperate for a reaction, nah, but I'm just saying, like, do your little hook. Because think about it, they don't see all this when they click on my post. They see how old you think I am, and then the emojis, and then because I spaced out, it's a longer text. It says what? See more. It has ... see more, or click here to read more. You click that, boom, you're already spending more time on the post. Oh, okay, this is what Layno's talking about. He's not just weirdly asking why people think how old he is. And then after that, after you tell your story, call to action. You direct people somewhere. You ask them to do something. You ask them to stream something. You ask them to click the link in bio. You ask them to comment down below what they think. Like, are you putting out content? You don't always have to have the call to action, is what I'm saying. But if you want your audience to do something specifically with your post, you could mention that at the end. Don't always do that, because then it comes off as like salesy and shit, but like, don't sleep on that when appropriate. Pay attention, guys. Pay attention to, and I mentioned this before, how I stay consistent. I'm doing one of 3 things every day. If I'm not learning, I'm creating. If I'm not creating, I'm networking. If I'm not networking, I'm learning. So I'm doing one of those 3. Constant cycle. Learning. I'm watching podcasts. I'm watching interviews, right? I'm watching live streams. That's learning. Number 2, I'm creating. I'm making a beat. I'm making a song. I'm mixing. I'm doing photography. Like, I'm doing a little graphic design. Like, I'm making art. I'm creating. If I'm not doing that, number 3, networking. I'm DMing people. I'm cold emailing. I'm messaging. You know what I mean? Like, do one of those 3 every day. You're gonna realize in a couple months, you're like, wow, things are starting to move. And pay attention when you're consuming other people's content, right? Because this is what's happening with me right now. I won't get into specifics, but there was a specific producer on a specific podcast that I watch. They mentioned, as I was watching that podcast that I'm a fan of, that the producer guest mentioned that they're looking to work with new talent. So what did I do? If that producer put it out there, I DM'd them on Instagram. And how did my DM go? Hey, I saw you on so-and-so podcast. Really appreciate the gems. Come up story, super inspiring. I'm also so you do your, and I actually say that in this networking video, how to like message people. Like, you start with establishing the connection at the very beginning. Like, where do you even know them from, right? You establish that connection. Number 2, you talk a little bit about yourself, just a little bit, just so they know who they're talking to. I'm a producer, artist, engineer from so-and-so. I work with so-and-so. And then the very last part of that message, the 3rd part, is, you know, the ask. How you can provide value. Like, may I send you loops and possibly get a collab? Would love to know your thoughts. Thank you. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? Or can I do this for you? Or are you doing this? You ask a question. You try to pick the brain. Can I learn from you? Like, that's the way you do it at the last part of the message. You know, you go for that ask. And that producer responded. And then they told me, dude, okay, I'll work with you if you do XYZ. I'm like, bet. So that's where I'm right now. It hasn't fully gone through yet, but shoot, man, you gotta shoot your shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys respond. Like, you never know, man. If you come correct, you provide value.
Yeah, bro, you miss all the shots you don't take, bro.
Facts. Michael Jordan, right? Was it Michael Jordan?